So it is varying here, radius vector is varying. Fine. So that is why this talks about a dynamic charge and this talks about a static charge. So with that, uh, we came to moving charges in a loop, and I defined Lenz's law. So Lenz's law shows you the production of a dipole. So as the charge moves in a clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction. So this is the this one PowerPoint for that, slide for that. This is Faraday's law, electromagnetic induction. A current is induced in a loop. So the direction of the current induced in a loop is decided by the direction along which you are moving, the south and north. So if south is approaching the loop, current will be in one direction. If you reverse it, take it back, then what happens? The current induced will be in another direction. So next was Ampere's law. So Ampere's law, we saw if there is a current element, that is a straight current carrying conductor, this one in the center. So then symmetric about the center, concentric magnetic lines of force are developing. This is one line, this is second one, third one, like that. The radius I have taken it as R, and you can see here B direction is changing. Continuously it is changing. So sometimes this is called a pseudo field, and pseudo means actually the field is experienced, it do not exist but it is experienced. So as long as current is there, you can experience this. So that's why sometimes it's also called pseudo. Pseudo means false, assumed. Pseudo field it is called sometimes. Okay. So next slide was the Lorentz force. So we are oftenly using this. So it is an electromagnetic field. A charge experiences force. An electromagnetic field is given by Lorentz force. Fine. That was the slide for that. Next, Lorentz force acting on a charged and uncharged particle. So we saw that if it is a charged particle, it experiences Lorentz force, that is FL is greater than 0 in this case. But if it is an uncharged particle, the force experienced by it is 0. FL is 0. This is a null vector in this case. So I have shown here examples of uncharged particle and charged particles. So next was definition of various laws in differential and integral format. So actually this is a Gauss law, but they have written here, I took this slide from a website actually. So this is a Gauss law, this is. Okay, this is a differential format of Gauss law, integral format of Gauss law. That is, it talks about if you keep a charge at one point, so how the flux varies. So flux is nothing but number of lines of force crossing per unit cross section area. So that is decided by this factor ds. So if ds is large, that is if you take this as ds small element, if you go on increasing it, it will become an envelope here. You can see here, this will become an envelope. So that envelope is called as a Gaussian surface. So that's why the law comes here, Gauss law. Okay. So Gaussian surface is a symmetric surface about the charge. Okay. If the sphere covered is larger, the number of lines passing through it is more. So as a result, electric field is more. That's what it wants to say. Okay. So ds plays a very important role. So here this is a curl of B. Okay, what is B? B is the magnetic field, E is the electric field. Okay, this is actually J, it is not I, this J by C it is. Fine. And again this is a Gauss law for magnetostatics. So that divergence, so del dot B, whenever you take dot, it is called divergence. So without dot or cross, it is called as gradient. So gradient tells how a particular parameter varies in a particular direction. That is called gradient. Okay. So this is a divergence. So divergence means from one point You can see here, this talks about divergence. From the point, the lines are diverging out. Similarly, they can converge if the arrow mark is pointing towards the center. So either it can converge or it can diverge. So in this case, I am talking about divergence of magnetic field. So if I am talking this in comparison with this, then I should talk about a monopole. That is single north pole, single south pole. But in nature, you cannot find a single north or a single south. North and south cannot be separated. Okay. So that is why this says that no monopole exists. So right hand side is 0. So divergence from a monopole, single monopole is 0. That means monopole do not exist. Okay. So in a similar way, you think of a north or south kept here instead of a charge here. So instead of a sphere, here he has taken a rectangle. Okay. So it says that no number of lines, flux lines are found outside the boundary. Okay. Gauss law. This is a Gaussian surface. But instead of charge, what you are keeping here? You are keeping a magnetic pole here. So as the law predicts that no monopole exists, so it is not possible to keep a single north or the south here. So as a result, the flux lines, if you want to observe here in the surrounding area of this Gaussian surface, so what should be its value? It should be 0. That's why right hand side of this equation is 0. So similarly, come to the fourth law, Maxwell's fourth law. It talks about Faraday's law, electromagnetic induction. So it is a combination of electric curling and magnetic variation, magnetic field variation as a function of time. So curling effect of E is seen here. You can see E is curling. Curling means what? It is going round and round. Curvature. E has got a curvature. It is not a straight vector. It won't go in this way. It changes direction at every point. That means it is curling. So that curling effect is shown as del cross E, and the variation of magnetic flux as a function of time. So that is shown by inducing a bar magnet inside this loop. Okay. So as you change the direction of movement of the bar magnet, what happens? As a function of time, the intersecting magnetic flux line will change with respect to the curling electric loop. So that gives you induced EMF. So anyhow, this is an induced EMF according to Faraday's law, and this is also electric effect. So both the effects are added together, and it shows that one is negative of another. Okay. So this is negative of this is negative of this, so the net change is 0. So in absence of the magnet, there won't be any EMF. Okay. So and no electric field is observed in absence of the external magnet you are introducing into the circuit. That was the slide. So next I came to the Cartesian and 4 vector formalism. So 3D space requires 3 vectors, 4D space requires 4 vectors. Then from there I came to the slide which introduces a new word, that is 4 vector. So 4 vector is for the first time introduced by Minkowski. So that's why this space is also called 4 vector space or 4D space, or it is called Minkowski space. So a 4 vector in a 4D dimension, 4 dimension, it is shown by this notation, that is a mu. So don't pronounce it as a to the power mu. It is called 4 vector. So here I have shown A. A is some vector in 4 dimension. There are 4 vectors are there. That's why it is called 4 vectors. So next was Minkowski space rotation. Phi is the angle of rotation. So this is without rotation. This is with rotation. It was shown. So next came the velocity dependency of Minkowski space. So from that we came to light cone. So in light cone, this is the portion where velocity is greater than c, and this is the boundary where v is equal to c, and this blue color cone, this is the space which has got velocity less than c. So if you are trying to observe a particle with different velocities, so you can see either here, or it is seen either here on this boundary, depending upon the velocity of the particle. So from that I came to the last slide, that is the vector operators. So what is the vector operator? It is a differential operator. It is called del operator. Okay. So you can see here these are the Cartesian variation differentiation. So I cap gives you x direction, and j cap y direction, k cap k direction. So you can simultaneously find out the change in x variable, y variable, z variable by using this operator on any vector. So for example, I write del A. So then A has got three components: Ax, Ay, Az. So Ax differentiation will come here, Ay differentiation will come here, Az differentiation will come here. All of them you add together, that will give you del A. Okay, that's how you have to use the del operator. So next was a four-dimensional operator. It is also called D'Alembert operator. So it is written in the differential notation this way. So I have said yesterday, I explained what is a covariant vector and what is a contravariant vector. So covariant vector, it supports the vector. Contravariant vector, it do not support. That means its effect is negative. It reduces the magnitude of the vector. The product of those two same vector, once taken as covariant, another next time it is taken as contra, take product of that. So that can also be defined as a D'Alembert operator. Or in a mathematical formalism, this can be written using this, that is second differential of a variable. Let us say the variable is A. It is a 4 vector now. Here I took it as a 3 vector. That is 3D space. This is a 4D space. So A is a 4 vector here. So you take 2 times differentiation with respect to time, divided by 1 by c square, that is the time component, plus del dot del, that is now del is having 4 components now here, because it is 4 vector. So one more component will come here, time component. Okay. So differentiate with respect to del. Okay. Then take dot product of del with del, that is del square. So del square is operating on A. So A is my vector. So that will give you the D'Alembert operation on vector A. Okay. So next I taught you about Laplacian operator. So del dot del, here I wrote it as del square. So this can be represented by a single operator, that is again this is an inverted triangle. So this is called Laplacian operator. Okay. So these are the different types of the operators we come across in electrodynamics. So that is why I explained all of them. So now we'll move to today's topic, that is electromagnetic field tensor. Okay. Any doubt is that, Komala?
No, ma'am.
No, you want to see. Okay, fine. So now we'll go to tensor calculus. This is actually called tensor calculus. So what is a tensor? So you can see here I have written in a matrix format here. So it is a 4 by 4 matrix it is. You can see here. But there are different types of elements are there. So you see here, this is the diagonal elements. Diagonal elements are all made 0. Okay. This is a lower triangular matrix, and this one is the upper triangular matrix from here to here. Okay. So why it is called lower triangle? It resembles a triangle in the lower side of the matrix. This is a triangle in the upper side. So these haphazard way of writing B's and E's may be confusing. So why sometimes it is written BZ, sometimes it is written BY, and you can see here BY is positive, here BY is negative. And you can see here there are 2 columns here. So this is the vertical column, it is talking about the electric vector, and this is horizontal component, again it is talking about the electric vector. So why the 4th row is electric and the 4th column is electric? and remaining part of the matrix is all talk about the magnetic field. So that can be calculated one by one in the next part of the PowerPoint presentation. So this whole matrix is represented by a notation F subscript mu nu. Okay. So mu is a row variable and nu is a column variable. Okay. So I'll come to next slide. You will appreciate this. 1 minute. I'll show this afterwards. So you see here, as I told, this is mu, it is a row index, fine, and nu, it is a column index, fine. So it is a 4 by 4 matrix, so 1 to 4 and 1 to 4. So accordingly, tensor elements, how you can write in general, the first row has got 4 columns, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, and you can see here this 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4 are the diagonal elements. Just now we saw all the diagonal elements are 0, fine. And if you take off the diagonal elements, you see here 2 1, 3 2, 4 3, 4 2, 4 1, 3 1. These are the lower triangle of the matrix. And similarly here, if you go up, so what is that? F12, 13, 14, 23, 24 and 34. This is the upper triangle. Okay. So you can individually calculate this. So it is represented in a form of matrix as I explained here. But the existence or the value of this element is governed by a law. So what is the law? This is the law. Okay. So any element in a tensor. So let us say I write here 1 1. That is first row, first column, first element, diagonal first element. Okay. Where is mu? Here is mu. So this will become dou x1 and this will become dou a1. So 1 and 1 I have introduced here. Now come to the second index. So second index, here is 1 nu and here is nu. So this is dou a1 divided by dou x1 minus dou a1 divided by dou x1. What's its value? It is the same thing. This minus this. So value will become 0. Okay. So similarly,
Yes, ma'am.
it is very easy. Once you understand, you can do by yourself. Okay, very easy. So next, let us say I will go to second row. Second row, second column. That is 2 2. Okay. Come here. Where is mu? Mu is here. Put 2 and 2 here. So this is dou x2, dou a2. Fine. So now come to nu. Nu is the value 2. So this dou a2, this is dou x2. Again, this whole fraction and these are both are negative of each other. So if you add both of them, the value is 0. Okay. So F22 is 0. So similarly, you calculate F33, third row, third column, diagonal element, the value is 0. Again, fourth row, fourth column, the fourth diagonal element, the value is 0. So come back to this matrix. So you can see here F11, F22, F33 and F44. Okay. So that's what I have written. So you can appreciate me here. So you see here F11, F22, F33 and F44. Fine. So all these diagonal elements are what? The value is 0. Okay. So now with this you can move to calculate other diagonal elements. I'll show you here some important that is steps how to calculate other diagonal elements. Fine. So you can see here. So B is del cross A. So it is a curling of the vector which is produces B. So you try to remember these two equations. So these two equations are used in all these calculations. Okay. So which component you are using? Actually this has got three components. What are the three components del has got? So just now I taught you.
Dou by dou x. Dou
Okay.
by
That
dou
is
x. Dou by dou y. Dou by dou z.
dou z. Okay. So if you are only using dou by dou x, then you are using ax, the x component of a. Fine. So that time this will become bx. Fine. So if you are using y component here, this should be y component. It will become by. You can see here here by is used. Fine. So if we are using a z component here, you have to use z component of this, z component of this, then this will become bz. You can see here it is written bz. So z component of this whole thing, it is written in this way. So this whole thing bracket subscript z. The whole thing is subscript y. Okay. Why it is negative and all we'll see. Okay. It is a mirror reflection. It is actually mirror reflection. So one by one we can calculate. For example, we'll start from the equation. So you start from this. Okay. So what I want to calculate? So I want to calculate, let us say F12. Okay. So start from that equation. What was the equation? Just now I showed you. Just a minute. So I want to calculate F12. Just a minute. Yes. So F12 I want to calculate. So mu is 1, nu is what? 2. Okay. So mu is 1 means I'll put here 1 and 1. Fine. Nu is 2. So I'll put here 2 and 2. So this is 2 and 1, and this will become reverse of that, that is 1 and 2. Okay. So that's what I have written here in this equation. So you can see here 2 and 1, 1 and 2. Okay. So the value of A is defined. So this is the definition of A. Okay. So mu value is 1, isn't it? So this will become A1. Okay. So if you use A1, so mu is 1, this is A1 here. So here mu is 1, x1, mu is 2, A2 and x2. Okay. So now this can be related to del cross A. Okay. So what is this? A you can differentiate with respect to x. You will get the first component. Okay. So how do you define A? A is defined by this equation. Okay. So define with respect to what? Yes. A is differentiated with respect to what? Yes.
X.
X.
Yeah.
A is differentiated with respect to x, isn't it? So now coming to this equation, A is differentiated with respect to x. Fine. So if you know A, you can differentiate it and put its value. Okay. So you can actually work this out. And similarly, A is differentiated with respect to x2, and then you can show it that is equal to del cross A, okay, with respect to Z. It is nothing but BZ. So similarly, F13 is dou A3 divided by dou X1, dou A1 divided by dou X3. It is the negative of this value, that is a Y component. This is written as minus BY. So I will show you individually how to do these things. It is just like a math. You can work this out. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We have completed the magnetic component. So similarly, you can calculate the other component. So you try to write this equation for the other components. Fine. And the values is given already. It is there in the matrix. Okay. You can equate it to that value. Fine. So now come to the fourth row. So fourth row, here he has written I, it is, there we have taken it as nu. Okay. 4I. So second variable is coming here and here. First variable is coming here and here, similar to this. Okay. So you see here A is differentiated with respect to x, but it is x4. X4 means fourth component. So fourth component means what? It is time component, isn't it? So that is
Yes, ma'am.
time component. So that is why you can write this as dou A divided by dou T. So whenever time component comes, you will get IC. Just now I told. So y axis is taken as CT it is. Actually it is ICT. Y axis in Minkowski space ICT it is. Okay. So as a result IC is a constant, it comes out. Only T portion is left as it is. So it is written as 1 by IC dou A divided by dou T. So now you come to A. So A is written as I phi. So what is I? I is an imaginary number and phi is what? It is a scalar potential here. So yesterday's class I explained you two factors. So one is a scalar potential, another is a vector potential. Okay. So x is taken as it is the ith component. Okay. So now in this one multiply both numerator of this one by I. Divide and multiply by I. Okay. This is I factor will come here. I factor will come here. This will become I square. So I square is minus 1. Okay. So both are having I as the common factor. I have taken I outside here. Okay. So remaining you can write it here dou A1 divided by dou T. Okay. Dou AI it is. This is ith column and CA as it is kept here and this is dou phi divided by dou XI it is. Okay. So same thing is written here and this whole thing it is nothing but you can see you compare with this. So there del is there, here x is there. That means it is the x component of phi. Got the point? So phi has got three components x, y, z or 1, 2, 3. Here he has written I. So I can be 1, 2, 3. Fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The first component with respect to x you are differentiating. So instead of del, dou is coming here. And you can see minus is a common factor here and here also it's a common factor here. Fine. So if you take minus outside with only one component, what will be this one? Dou phi divided by dou x, one component, plus 1 by c dou A divided by dou T. So because I am talking about the x component or let us say the first component, so then this index I is put here. So this will refer to 1 or it may be 2, it may be 3 depending upon the value of I here. So I it varies from 1 to 4. So in the earlier notations I showed it as mu there. Mu I took it as, but here he is writing it as 4I. Fine. So this can be 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4. So 4-1 means what it is? The first element in fourth row,
Fourth column.
first column, 4-1. Got it?
Hmm.
Next, 4-2,
Yes, ma'am.
fourth row, second column. 4-3, fourth row, third column. Okay? And 4-4, what is that? Fourth row, fourth column. 4-4 is a diagonal element. So just now we found out that diagonal element is 0. Okay, so that is why you can, this ends up with the according the index. This can be E1, E2, E3, E4. Okay, so with this now I'll come back to the tensor here. So you see here. So E1, this is what just now we calculated. Okay, so it was EI it was. Okay, so if I is 1 it is a x component. If I is 2 it is a y component. If I is 3 it is a z component. Okay, so similarly you can calculate by reversing the index. Okay, so there you took it as 4i. Otherwise you can take it as I4. So if I take it as I4 because of the equation just now, first slide I showed you, you can see here one is a covariant, another is a contravariant. That is one is negative of another. Okay. So you see here these are covariant and contravariant. One is minus of another. They are actually mirror reflection but they are contrast. Okay. So if it is plus here, here you can see minus. If it is plus here, it is minus here. Okay. So this shows the diagonal elements. All the diagonal elements are 0 and this is the magnetic elements. Fine. So the magnetic elements are all again they are reverse of each other. Covariant and contravariant. Reverse of each other. Mirror reflection. Okay. So this talks about the electromagnetic field tensor. So why it is called electromagnetic field tensor? It composed of electric field and magnetic field. That's why electromagnetic. So fields there. Field means it is talking about the potentials or energy. It is electric field or magnetic field. So because it is tensor, so tensor is it is similar to matrix, but the elements will follow or bounded by some law. So their existence will be there if the law is satisfied. Otherwise, it will become zero. You can see here. They have become zero here. So you cannot write any haphazard numbers or alphabets in this. So each element value is fixed by some law. That's why it is called tensor. So F mu is a tensor. So what tensor it is? 4 by 4 tensor it is. Okay. Fine. But you can see here how many variables we are using? 4 variables we are using. Of course, t variable is not appearing here. Only here XYZ partition is coming. That's why this is a tensor of 4th rank. Okay. 4 variables are there. It is of 4th rank. 2 variables, it is 2nd rank. 3 variables are there, 3rd rank. Okay. So this is a tensor of 4th rank. What type of tensor? It is an asymmetric tensor. Okay. So the elements here, they are reverse here, asymmetric it is. So if one is positive, another is negative, asymmetric it is. Okay. So this is how electromagnetic field tensor is defined. So these are the 4 vector formalism of the potential. So potential in the 4th, Minkowski space, this is the value. So Cartesian space, this is the value. Then you can write the 4 vector here. So similarly, current density vector, so sometimes it is also called current vector. Okay. So current vector, it is 4 vector. It is written in this way. You can see